so we had like our very last ball. So I had the last ball and I knew I had to shoot the next day and we were out drinking. So I'd slept under a tree out in the Meadows.
What?
Yeah.
Mram, welcome to Get to the Gap.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited for you. I've been waiting for this, especially since our episode together. I was so buzzing.
I've been so buzzing. This morning I woke up and I'm like, I'm just giddy, like getting ready. And I
you
was
got
like,
up at 5:45.
Yeah.
I stuck up. She got up at 5:45 to come on my podcast in Edinburgh.
from Glasgow.
Yeah, from Glasgow. You'd be doing the most to come on this podcast.
Honestly, I love to be here. Like, I love meeting cool people, and you're just one of the cool people.
Oh my God,
I
stop
feel
that.
so honored.
I get really embarrassed. Tell me a bit about yourself.
Okay, this is always hard when people are like, tell me about yourself. Like, what do you want to know? You know?
Yeah, I always throw people on the spot with that one, but
So I guess I'm a neuroscience student at Glasgow. I do some modeling on the side. I love to draw. And yeah.
she's smart and she's hot.
No. No, that sounds awful. No, I'm very intrigued by people, which is why I really love neuroscience. And I guess I'm a little bit weird, so I think it's cool for me to imagine exactly what people are thinking about at any point from like a biological sense as well.
So when did you get into neuroscience? Like, was it always something that you were interested in, or like
No.
that sparked your interest like in high school, or what was that?
See, so it's really weird. I keep flipping back and forth. So in 5th year, I was like, I'm going to do biology, life science degree. The sixth year, I took like stats, economics, and business. Like none of the things I needed to do biology. And I was like, no, screw it. I'm going to be like a businesswoman. And then something happened towards the end of the year. I was like, cool. Like I took a gap year. I came back and I was like, I'm going to go into biology again. So I did biochemistry. And I think anyone that does biochemistry will tell you do not do biochemistry.
Oh, was it really bad?
I just hated chemistry.
Oh, really?
I don't want to know that much about atoms, you know.
I think I got 8% in my prelim for chemistry.
Really?
In like Nat 5, yeah. Oh no, I literally hated science.
It's so awful.
I didn't mind biology, but like chemistry, I was like, what? Like, I just didn't have the brain for it. I couldn't wrap my head around all this, like, they just throw stuff at you and you're just expected to learn it. It was
and
awful.
It's like the atoms, like I don't care.
Yeah.
They're all like dancing around each other.
I hated physics more than I hated chemistry though.
Oh yeah, no.
I hated physics with a passion.
I cried tears over physics. Did you do Nat 5 physics?
Yes, I had to. Again, like, I think I even got like worse. I think it was like
No.
3% in
No.
my prelim. No, I just wasn't, it was not for me, but we were forced to do it. We had to do like, how many did you do? How many Nat 5s did you have to
8,
do?
yeah.
Yeah, we did like that. It was awful. Sorry, I interrupted you. So
No,
tell you
it's
how
okay.
shit I was at science.
Well, I knew I could not do physics. I could not do that. So I was like, let me go into the sciences. And chemistry was like a good bet. Went in with biochemistry, hated it. And then I knew a guy that did neuroscience. And to be honest with you, I just didn't think about it too much. I was like, this person seems to like it. Like, let me go for it. I didn't really deep it.
Yeah.
And then, to be honest, I don't think I truly knew what it was. I just knew it was like about the brain. And then like actually going into like 3rd year and learning about it, I was like, this is so cool. And it's also, it helps you understand other people. Mm-hmm. And nobody, like, since I've started it, I feel like I used to get like a lot of anxiety and stuff, and I don't really get it anymore because I can understand like what's really happening.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's so interesting. So like, what does happen? Can you explain? Like, to like a dumb. Imagine your experience is like someone that's a bit dumb.
Right. So, from like, say for me, I get some sort of like social anxiety about something. I'm thinking about all like the personality centers in my brain like getting activated, or like just things working together, like me working together in this is like, say there's a part in our brain called the amygdala, and that's centered with fear and emotions.
I know that one.
Yeah.
I know that one.
Yeah. And so these are like the really prehistoric parts of our brains. And so throughout time, humans have evolved, and like the prefrontal cortex and stuff have evolved, but these parts have still been there for quite a long time. So say if I go into a situation and I'm like feeling really anxious, I'm like, well, that's just this part being activated, and then that's just these hormones being released, like say cortisol, which is stress. And it's like, I don't know, when you think of it like that, it's a lot more magical. Like you kind of, I don't know, take yourself out of the situation a little bit.
That's fascinating. I just can't believe that you do that, and then you model, and then you have your own podcast.
Yeah.
Like, so where did brain fry come into it too?
Brain fry is because my friends say that I always sound like I'm high all the time.
To be fair, when I was sitting with you and you were telling me some of these stories, I was like, you are fried.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I was like, tell me more.
They've always, like, sometimes I've said, like, we'll be going to lectures and stuff, and I'll be imagining cars as dragons. I don't know.
Fair.
Yeah. And I just have lots of these thoughts. So I was like, I just thought about it before I even, like, deeped it too much and just went for it.
It sounds like you're also, like, a really creative person, though, so why didn't you go down that route?
I love it so much. Yeah.
Really?
I'm torn between both. I mean,
yeah. Because when I was in your house, you had, like, cool drawings that you'd done and everything. I was like, so you do that as well?
Yeah.
A woman in STEM, an artist, and she's a model.
Oh, you get
like,
me out too much.
Literally.
No, yeah, I mean, I do love art. My mom is quite, like, artistic as well.
Mm-hmm.
She did, like, interior design for a bit. So I guess that's where I get it from. Mm-hmm. And then my dad is very smart, and he did, like, mechanical engineering and stuff like that. So I guess it's probably just a bit of both.
Were you super academic in school?
Yeah.
How did you find school?
I loved school towards the end. At the beginning, I kind of did struggle just because I went to a school just around here, and I don't know, I was really shy, and it took so long for me to have any confidence, and like for so long in my head I thought when I speak to people they don't want to speak to me, and then there's like a timeline of like a stopwatch in their head. It's like, right, we're just going to talk to her for a little while and then go, and I carried that on. Yeah, I mean, towards the end, I really loved it. I made good friends and things like that, so...
But you went to private school, didn't you? Private schools can be brutal.
Yeah.
Like, it's a brutal sort of... It's like a weird environment where it's, like, super competitive. And, like, there's so much pressure on you to, like, thrive academically. And if you don't thrive academically, you're kind of just forgotten about and, like, pushed to the side. And they don't really give a shit about you. That's exactly what happened to me.
How was your experience?
Oh, honestly, I can't even get into it because I've talked about it so many times. But I just really didn't like school. I think I was going through so much at the time, and I just, like, honestly, I kind of, like, had, like, a switch in my head where I was like, I don't care. Like, I actually don't care. I don't care about the exams. I don't care about anyone here. I don't care about getting anywhere in life after this. Like, I just want out. So I think everyone's experience is really different, but I think private school is like another ball game.
It is lethal.
And like people won't understand unless they go. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm so grateful that I went and that I had the opportunity. But like, I would never send my kids to private school.
Really?
Oh yeah, no.
See, I have a different view on that.
Oh really?
So I thought like it was tough, but it was so tough you get really thick skin. And I think for me, it gave me like a level of confidence. Like, if I have to hit these achievements, then I will hit these achievements.
Oh yeah, there's the private school confidence.
Yeah,
that is an
actual thing.
That's like how I think I would manage to start this, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it is a genuine thing because the people around you just have that confidence. And
it's called money.
It's called money.
It's called money.
It's called privilege. Yeah.
It's fucking privilege.
I mean, I don't like, I think I like pay for a lot of things like myself and stuff. So like my parents don't fund a lot of my things, so it's like my privilege, I would say, is modeling and just like other circumstances and stuff. But like I work very hard, and that's why I'm so hard, like I really care about that kind of thing. So I think like all my friends went to uni. It was not like everyone did 8 Nat 5s, and then like going into uni, realize that everyone has like different backgrounds. And I've made it like a really big thing that when I go to uni, I don't just stick with the friends I made at like high school. And all my friends, like a lot of my good friends now are just people I met at uni. And I think sometimes that private school bubble continues.
Oh, 100%, definitely. And like that's fine for some, but like it just was not for me, and I'm guessing it wasn't for you either. I want to go back to your modelling.
Okay.
How did you get into that? Because you said that you were really shy throughout school, and like you were a bit like, and I remember in our episode we did together, you said that you didn't feel pretty.
Yeah.
How?
I
just cannot fathom that at all.
I think my delusions manifested that into real life.
It's the brain.
Straight up. Like, so yeah, I would say I wasn't really conventionally like pretty, like growing up. And then basically I had that gap tooth, and I know you had that as well.
That too.
And it was like generally like one of those movie moments where like as soon as I got my braces off, we had like 3 balls. Like and our very first ball was like a winter ball, and I got my braces off on the day of the ball.
Oh, the chances. I got my braces off the day before I started my new school, and I was like,
"Oh,
it's about to start here."
That's so lucky.
Watch the space.
But yeah, so I was like so lucky because it was like on the ball, and I had this like little red slinky dress.
Gorge.
And to be honest, if you look back on it, you're probably like, no, gorge. But at the time, it slapped. I thought it slapped.
No, honestly, some of the stuff that I'd wear to like school balls and the makeup that I would get done, I would come back.
You get your makeup done?
Yeah.
Oh.
I got my makeup done. Don't ask why. I literally looked like a clown.
Oh,
I was
really?
literally 16 and like the heaviest like contour, smoky eye. I remember I came back and my mum was like, "You look ridiculous."
No.
Like, thank you, mum.
Thanks,
yeah.
Mum.
Yeah, literally love you, girl.
Did you not go through that like awful makeup phase where you like learnt yourself?
I never really went through that.
It's
like
naturally pretty. That's what
no,
it is.
that's what I was saying. Like I never really experimented much with makeup. Like I just kind of like did what I've never really like been like. I wish I was, because now I could do like a fucking winged eyeliner. I've never learned how to do that.
You can't do wing eyeliners?
No,
Girl.
and that's like the bare minimum. Like I've
No.
literally never really learned to do anything, because I just like my mum also like banned me from makeup for like, well, not banned me, like she just didn't want me to wear makeup when I was like a kid. And then I only just kind of got introduced to it like in high school, and then like I wasn't gonna like, we had really strict rules on like makeup and stuff at school, so like we couldn't really wear a lot, so I just didn't really learn to. And then one of my best friends at school would just do my makeup for me when we went out.
See, I was the girl. For some reason, you know what? It's because I was conventionally unattractive.
That is, but I do not know where you got this from. So you got scouted like in school?
No. So I like I had like a
wait, really quick. Did you ever get asked to work in Hollister?
I applied for, that was my first job actually.
Of course.
But I think
of course it was. I called it. I knew it. I honestly can't believe that I just figured that out.
Why?
I'm so impressed with
But
myself.
the thing is that Hollister don't, you know, there's this whole thing of like Hollister only employs like blah, blah, blah.
They
people.
do.
They don't like.
Back in the day when they get people to like stand topless and like
Back
fucking
in the
Buchanan
day, but
Street.
no, when I came, their standards have dropped since then, I promise.
That was so bad.
Yeah.
I knew it.
No.
You do give like California.
No. Because I quite like the job. The only thing I didn't like was I don't want to go bother people when they're shopping. You know the whole culture where you like go up to someone like, "Hi, how you doing?"
Yeah,
you have to say that to every single person that passes through. And I could tell when someone had some sort of anxiety about speaking to people and they're just in the corner.
But also, no one wants to be bothered when they're shopping. Just leave them alone.
No, they know that they can shop.
Yeah, literally, they've understood that they're welcome into the store. The doors are open.
The doors are open.
The clothes are out.
Yeah.
Literally.
The lights are on.
The lights are on. It's open. Just fuck off. Sorry. Back to modeling.
Oh yeah. So I guess I'll give some backstory before people think I'm like narcissistic, because basically there was a head girl in our school and she does fashion. She's so cool. She's still cool. And she was like, "Oh, do you want to do like a shoot with me?" And it was like for like her design or something. And it did so well that it went on like the newspaper. And then that was the first time that people were like, "Oh, like you should really go model. You should go model." That was about the time that I started feeling like a lot more confident. So then we'd go on nights out and stuff, and people were like, "Oh, like, do you model? Do you model?" And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should model.
Yeah, I'm a model.
So I like applied to the agency, and I was like, I'm not gonna get like anything back from them. Like I'm just gonna put it out there anyways.
So you'd like send headshots and stuff?
Yeah, like a headshot, like a full shot and stuff.
Did you get that professionally done?
No, just like
just did it yourself.
Just in our shitty little white wall.
Fair.
Like, yeah, sent it over. They called me, and they signed me up.
And now you're Bella Hadid.
And now I'm so far from Bella Hadid. I actually had a dream that I was getting my nails done with Bella Hadid, and I woke
you
up.
You have the most fried brain. I don't know how.
Yeah, no, it really hurts sometimes.
It hurts being this smart. Yeah. So then you started modelling. What was your first shoot? What was the first thing you got done for?
Oh, what a good question. First shoot. Right, first shoot that I can remember.
Yeah.
Because obviously you get your photos, like you get a shoot where you get photos taken for your book. I think first one was like this Japanese food company. And it was like, so we had like our very last ball. So I had the last ball and I knew I had to shoot the next day, and we were out drinking. So I'd slept under a tree out in the meadows.
What?
Yeah. Wait, I just forgot about that. So we had our night. We went to Gary's, if you know Gary Bobby.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I know my shoot's in the meadows. So I slept under a tree in the meadows.
And you waited for the shoot to start. What the
With
fuck?
the bathroom did my makeup.
Oh my god. I cannot believe you Sorry, anyone listening, don't do that. Do not do that. That is so
dangerous.
So a young girl just went, you know what, I'll just stay here. I've never done anything like that. I once was really drunk and I like put my work clothes on for the next day so that I could just get up and go.
I really like that.
But I'd forgotten about it, so I woke up in like full like uniform, like what? For like a burger restaurant.
What?
But no, I didn't sleep in the place.
Yeah, no, I was crazy back then.
You slept in Meadows. Like, when was it? It was like, don't tell me it was like winter.
Huh?
When was it? Like, what season?
It was like summer.
Okay, right.
Summer season.
So
oh god, winter.
In the snow. I'll just stay here.
There's no way. I can't even survive outside. I had to like stop hockey because I'd have like yellow hands. And the ladies be like, girls, keep running. And I'm like, I'm dying right now.
I can't believe you slept in Meadows. So, did they know? Well, you must have been so hungover. When did you wake up? I need to know from start to finish how you ended up going to the Meadows and thinking, this is a good idea, and then waking up and being like, I'm just going to go fix my makeup.
I knew I had the plan. I had the plan.
So this was like you made up this plan before.
Yeah.
Even going to the ball.
No, the plan was made at
That's like you're like, I'm just gonna sleep in the bed.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna be really responsible and like have a responsible night. And I was like, this is the last ball. Like I have to go out with my friends. And it was just the night was getting more and more fun. And I was like, I know I wake up early. Like I know I'll get like if there's a job, I'll get it done. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, it's fine. I just didn't. I don't know why I slept in a meadow. I don't know why I did that. I can't.
That's
remember.
something that you can investigate later in your brain.
I feel like we must have gone back to a friend's house, and then I like left really early and then slept in. Because I think what happened, we went to Gary's, went back to a friend's. I went to the Meadows. And just slept under the tree, woke up and went for my shoot. I have no idea. Oh, and do you want to know where I got my makeup done? You know Soderbergh? You know that?
Yeah.
I went to the toilets there and got did my makeup.
What the fuck? I was not expecting you to say that at all. How old are you?
I'm 21, turning 22 next month.
And how old were you then?
Just turned 18.
Oh my god. I remember my last ball when I was in school. Like, we went to this, like, we actually ended up going to this, like, castle hotel that I worked at the time.
Oh, that's
which was
kind of
so
awful.
nice. So I was, like, in this, like, slaggy dress with my makeup like a clown. So
Did you always keep getting your makeup done then?
Yeah, just because everyone got their makeup done.
Oh, okay.
So I was just like,
Fair enough.
fine, I'll get my makeup done. But I didn't really, like, I wasn't particularly arsed on getting my makeup done, but I literally looked about 30 years older.
No.
I was literally, like, so I was 17 when I left school. So I was 17 at the time, and I went to the place where I was working, which was just, like, seeing my boss, who was an arsehole as well. Like, it just wasn't a vibe. And then when we were on the dance floor, at some point, my phone dropped and someone stood on it with their heels, so my phone broke.
No way.
And the afters was in the middle of nowhere on this farmhouse that some girl had.
No.
Like, we're talking like a private school, like,
Oh yeah, I know the
farmhouse.
farmhouses are private.
So they hired like a massive coach to take us out to this
No
farmhouse
way.
in the middle of nowhere.
Oh my god, was it gorgeous?
I don't really remember.
I don't remember.
But there was a barn. There was a barn with like haystacks and stuff that we were like dancing on and stuff. And I was so drunk. And then we went into like the main house and like people were like sleeping on the kitchen floor and stuff. It was such a mess. And I had to go to France the next day. I was flying to France. Like,
Was it an early flight?
Yeah, an early flight. Like, I had to be at the airport really early. But where the farmhouse was, there was no way that you were getting anywhere.
No.
So my phone was broken. I couldn't get a hold of my mum or my dad. So I had to walk with like I think it was like 2 other girls. We walked like in the
No.
middle of the countryside. I had no idea where in Scotland we were. Like I had no idea where we were. We must have been like a good hour out of Glasgow.
Oh my god.
And we just like walked and walked on this country road, and then one of our teachers ended up going past in a car, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" And she was like, "Oh, there's a train station like 20-minute walk away." And I was like, "Oh my god!" So we just kept walking.
So just like 3 girls in the middle of the countryside.
Yeah, we just kept walking and walking and walking, and then we finally ended up at this train station, and then I ended up home, and I was so drunk. And then my parents I ended up going to the airport, and my dad was like, "You stink of booze."
Oh
and I
no.
was so steaming.
Oh
and I was so
no.
hungover.
It's about your phone's broken as
And
well.
my phone was
That's
broken,
so annoying.
and it was like I was holding the screen together with a rubber band. It was an absolute nightmare, and I was so hanging. So like my dad was kind of like, he was being silent, he was like giving me prosecco on the flight to like, you know, like kind of keep me going. But I was fucked. I was so fucked. And
Was
I
it
felt
good
like,
fun though?
it was fun, but I
Yeah.
also fell out with my parents because they were pissing me off.
You guys are trying to chirp me
Yeah,
up.
literally,
Shut
I was
up.
like, I'm pissed. Like, leave me alone. Like, literally acting like a twat.
You guys are taking me to France. Screw you.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, it was bro. But yeah, that's what I remember from my last ball.
Wow.
I know, it was fucking mental.
I don't know what happens there. People should be wary.
This is another thing with confidence, like when you're a kid.
Oh yeah.
Like you thinking you can just sleep under a fucking tree. I like the stuff that I would do when I was a child, thinking, oh, this is completely normal. Just getting into random people's cars, like getting lifts places. and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. We did
So
not talk
bad.
about that enough.
No,
Like
we
some
didn't.
older guy like messaging you and like picking you up.
Not even that. On my Duke of Edinburgh, I just like really cheated on my Duke of Edinburgh. I just got like a lift to the finish line.
No way.
I got into this hippie van with this.
Did you like just hitchhike and put your thumb
Yeah,
out?
like we were like hitchhiking, and I got into this like hippie van with this like weird hippie van, and I was there like so stinking after 3 days. Like, please just take me to the
Please
finish line.
take me.
And we arrived so early at the finish line, like 6.
No.
They were like, you
Like, too
finished
early.
Yeah, they were like, you finished 6 hours before like your trip isn't over yet. So we had to wait there for 6 hours.
Oh my
I
god.
know, they were so pissed.
By the way, Duke of Edinburgh, what was that about?
Oh yeah,
That is dangerous.
no, that was dangerous. And also, like, with the boys that I was on the trip with, they just got drunk because they went to like some bothy and like found loads of like leftover alcohol, and they got drunk, and then we all got separated, and it was an absolute nightmare. And I tried to call the police, but there was no connection. We were like on Ben Nevis, and I thought the police call to go through anyway. But like just imagine all these privileged little private school kids that have never been to the countryside before, and like calling the police over and over. And the next day, I looked at my phone. The next day, it was like 10 calls to 999. I was like, they'll send a helicopter. They'll send a helicopter. It was so bad. I remember telling my dad about it the next day. He was like, you little kids are fucking built for nothing. And I was like, yeah, literally.
You want to know something? We had something. So Duke of Edinburgh was an experience, but we had this thing in our school called projects, and I think it's like a teacher's sadistic way of torturing like private school kids. Because our projects in particular, so do you know where Durness is?
No.
Very, very north up Scotland. Beautiful. Like apparently that's where they go to take like pictures of the Maldives beaches, but it's not actually Maldives beaches. But
I've
it's
heard
like
about it, yeah.
gorgeous. So we were there for a bit, but then they took us off to this island off Durness where they do like army training.
And you did that for Duke of Edinburgh?
No, that's just like project.
Right.
It's just something that we did in our school. And everyone goes all around different places, but our group went to Durness. And this island is like where I think they do like maybe military training or bombings or something happens there. But it was obviously off season for it. But
Thank God.
thank God.
It's not the season for them to bomb.
It's not. But I think, so basically they left us, all the teachers left, and they taught us survival skills. So how to like fish, mussels, and stuff, like pitch up a tent and stuff.
They taught you that?
They taught us that.
Wow.
Because there was going to be like, I think 2 days or a day, they're just going to all leave. They're going to leave this island. And we're going to have to survive by ourselves. Like,
sorry, that sounds like some Lord of the Flies
no,
shit.
it's so Lord of the Flies.
Leaving all these like little rich kids on the island, like survive yourself.
Survive. And so we knew how to do mussels, but we just like... So
I'm sorry, but that's like a delicacy.
Yeah.
Mussels. Can we get some garlic sauce, please?
Like, we would get them from the sea.
But you would go and die for them.
No, we wouldn't die. You don't need to die from mussels.
I don't know. I saw someone on TikTok do it once.
In Scotland, these guys are just laying on some random rock. So you just like take them out. But then I think there's like 15 of us. So we don't really have enough mussels. Oh, they gave us a treasure chest with like potatoes and carrots.
Wait, I'm so confused. What is this? What? I've never heard of this. I'm sorry, that just sounds like some weird like shit that your school did. Does not exist in any other school.
They wanted us to make dinner, like, you know. So we used all these ingredients to make food amongst us, and we couldn't pitch up the tent. And so we all, like, that we pitched it up a little bit, but we all basically lay on the tent and the thistles. And by the morning, we were just like flat sardines, and the tent is just flat on like 15 or 10 little kids.
I'm sorry, I cannot believe they did that to you. That's so weird.
Yeah, it's because we should have been listening when they taught us how to like survive.
But what were they training you for?
I have no idea.
No, that is some sick, like, let's just go annoy these little kids. Let's torture these little children and like make them go get muscles. Honestly, I really like muscles.
You don't?
No, I do. I like muscles. I cannot believe you did that. What the fuck?
We had to make a fire ourselves as well.
No, I'm not being like, oh my god.
No, I know.
But I'm just like, I'm so like shocked that you had to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do that.
I'm sorry, but I'm looking this up. What's it called?
Projects. We just called it projects. It's something that happens like every year, and people go to different places in Scotland.
Is it just your school?
I have no idea. It's just the culture.
Project Scotland school trip.
I think people do it because they can get like one of these awards or something.
Wait, I think I found it.
Have you?
No, this looks like the kids are looked after. They're actually look happy. That's so weird. I've never heard of that in my life.
I think everyone else's was really tame. Like other people just go do like a D&V kind of thing for a bit, but ours was like a survival experience.
Honestly, that's probably where you get your tough skin from.
Yeah, that's where it is.
100%. Sorry, we've gone so off track from me being like Hollister to you being like, I had to survive off of potatoes, carrots, and mussels.
We had a treasure chest.
Yeah, literally. I don't even know how we managed to get to there. But your school life sounded a bit insane.
Yeah.
We were talking about your first shoot and you sleeping under a tree.
Oh yeah.
So apart from that, so a Japanese restaurant, and then after that, just kind of like pick up.
Yeah, so I was about to go on my gap year, and I was like, I don't have enough money. Like, I don't have enough money to go travel around. And then luckily I got like RBS just before, like the Royal Bank of Scotland, and that was basically my first big shoot. And
you did a shoot for RBS?
Yeah.
So was you like getting money out of a bank machine, like?
It was like me like laughing at popcorn, like stealing some guy's popcorn, like.
For an RBS shoot?
Yeah.
That's random, fair.
It was trying to like promote like some sort of scheme that they've done for students, and apparently they wanted me to promote it with some other people. But I never actually saw my own ad because I was in Thailand, like I was traveling. So I was in Thailand and I was sitting in a hammock listening to Lana Del Rey. And I went on Instagram and my friends are like messaging me like, well done, well done, well done. I'm like, well done what? Like, what's going on? They're like, the shoot, like your RBS ad. I was like, oh, can someone send me the video? And like, no one was sending me the bloody video. But one girl put it on her story and then I'd seen it. But apparently I was like so proud of it. But apparently there was like a hole in my sock. And I was like, why did no one tell me? There's a team of whole people. There's a hole in my sock.
Did everyone see your toes?
I think so. But I'm just a glorified foot model now, so.
Fair. So it was RBS, then what after that?
And then COVID hit. So it was kind of like very limited for jobs. I would say I only just went into main board, which is like not the, progression phases like last year. And then that's when I've been like, thankfully consistently getting like shoots on a monthly basis and stuff.
Yeah, fair. So I'm allowed to ask what's the most money you've made?
Right. I don't mind answering this, but I also, it's not what I make each and every time.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And it's because...
It differs, obviously.
It does differ. And, my friend sometimes, pulls out this number to people, and I don't want people thinking that's what I make every single time. But the most I've made, I think, is, 1.6.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
And you just, so you do it and then you just get it. It's just, a day's work.
Yeah.
You get 1.6k for a day.
No, not all the time.
Every single time.
No, shut up.
That's going to be the clickbait title. 1.6k a day.
No, obviously, I do it part-time. So if you do it full-time, you probably make a lot more because you can go to London and stuff like that. But maybe that's in the future, but not for now.
You've got 3 things going on though, like I've said, podcasting, your modelling career and your neuroscience degree. So like, where do you want to go?
Where do I want to go? I really love knowledge, and I really love like learning. Like, I love science, and I love creativity, and I really love podcasting.
Yeah.
And so my plan, I know you've spoken about this, but London for me does present good opportunities for all three bases, you know? And I know it's like a big hatred
Just
thing.
abandon Scotland.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I'd definitely come back, and like I'd want to bring people here, but
no, I agree.
In the sense of opportunity for all these like three things, it would make a lot of sense.
No, like if I was making like a shit ton of money down in London, of course, like it's not something that you can just say no to. But like it's just, I'm not going to go down there with no money and no plan. Do you know what I mean? And also, like I said, I've already said it way too many times, so I can't be going down to London now. I've literally shat all over it. Like, I've no, like...
You can never step foot, not even a holiday.
Literally can't even go on holiday there. I'd be the biggest hypocrite on earth. And also, one of my best friends lives there, and she keeps being like, you need to come visit. And I'm like, what if I go down and I absolutely love it?
And get obsessed.
And then get obsessed. So I'm trying to, like...
You're allowed to change your mind, though, as you evolve as a person, no?
I never thought of it like that. maybe. But for now, like, I'm just sticking to my guns and being like, give Scotland opportunities, to be honest. But, like, for you, like, you've got all these mad different opportunities. Like, what do you mean by podcasting in London when you're like all three of those? Because I think it's way more competitive in London than it would be here.
Definitely. I love competitive, though. Like,
what are you trying to say? You taking me on my podcast?
No, not at all. I love places where I'm one of the smallest people and like grow kind of thing. Okay. But like I'm also, my mindset is that everybody has their different fates and different paths, and their different privileges and their different things are gonna come to them, and there's no point in like comparison in that sense, you know. And so like I know it's like very competitive there, but I think that's where a lot of like sciencey people would come, or like business and stuff like that. And I don't know, the thing that with Scotland I kind of don't like a lot is that you go somewhere, you follow someone like after a night out, and there's so many different mutuals.
Oh my god, yes.
And it's like, oh, this person knows of you, what do they know of you, what's people, it's like very villagey. And I think if you like, you want to go out on social media and stuff, people will know about you very quickly. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced that as well as like, there's not a lot of people that do this kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, no, like, not even like people like knowing me, like not at all. I don't even really think about that, but just like bumping into people that like I've either slept with or like my exes, and it is awful.
It's awful.
Because like now I like, and I know I shouldn't care about how I look, but like now I care more about how I look when I step outside, because Edinburgh's literally a village and I can't stand it. I
want to ask you about that.
Okay.
Like reversing it to you.
No, this is how I felt on your podcast. Yeah. I was like, I want to ask you questions.
I'm just really intrigued. Like, see, now that you're putting, because you're doing podcasts, like I'm not doing the video thing yet, maybe after uni, but you're actually on video.
Yes.
Do you feel very self-conscious about like how you look all the time?
Because another episode, Finley didn't tell me my hair was crazy and it looked so insane, and literally he's laughing right now, but I literally texted him, I was like, you didn't tell me how crazy I look, and he was like, I believe in natural beauty, and I was like, fuck off.
That smile.
Literally, shut up. And even like I was looking about, and I even showed like my flatmate Rach, she was like, you look cute, and I was like, no I don't. I look insane. So I think I'm more conscious now, so I'm constantly like making sure my hair is back, like looking to the side. So,
like my nose profile.
Yeah, literally like side profile only, guys. But like I'm just constantly like worried about what. Yeah, obviously you're gonna be worried.
Yeah.
Like before I didn't really care, but after that video came out, Finley, I'm really conscious about it. I'm very conscious about it. Yeah. But I mean, that just is social media, isn't it? You're always gonna care about what you look like, especially when you're putting out to like a lot of people at once. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. I feel
like when I first started doing shoots, I had like a lot of like almost face dysmorphia. Like I was like, oh, I thought I looked better than that. And then they bring up a photo and they're like, that's a really nice photo. And I'm like, is it? Like,
but I think like there's this whole thing that if you stare at something for too long, it starts to look weird.
Yeah, true.
Like that video of like, not that video, that photo of Khloe Kardashian that went out. Do you know which one I'm talking about? She looked completely different.
Is this new?
No, you know what, I'm going to find it. And like, some people know what I'm talking about, but she put out this photo on Instagram and she looked so different. Like her boobs were popping off and they were highlighted to fuck, and her face was tiny. Look.
Oh yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah, and,
wow.
And that's her like in the Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Oh my god! Wait, and then that's the actual thing.
Yeah, and that's like what she actually looked like, and that was the photo she posted.
Wow.
And I think like she might have just stared at it for so long that it looked like ended up like looking weird, so she edited it or something. Who knows? But yeah.
Aww.
When you stare at something for too long, it starts to look weird, and then you like don't recognize yourself. But there's that whole thing with like if you bumped into yourself in the street, you wouldn't recognize yourself.
What do you mean?
Like is that not a theory?
Is
that,
it?
Like,
What if you bumped into yourself?
Because people don't actually know, like, if you like bumped into like a version of yourself,
wow.
like people aren't able to like register it or something like that.
I definitely would not. I can't even recognize my friends sometimes. I have like some sort of face blindness. Like I'm really bad at recognizing faces, so I definitely would recognize myself.
Yeah, but it's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think, going back to your question, I do think obviously like it's. Yeah, I do think about like what I look like in video and stuff, and like there's some parts of the video I'm like, Jesus, why did you put that face? There was even like a video that like I was watching back once, and like I literally like pushed my nose up and looked like a pig, and I was like, why did I do that when I'm being like videoed? And I took a video of it and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I feel like I'm now just really like careful with like how I sit and stuff.
Really?
But then I get to a point where I'm like slouched down, I'm like and then I have to like bring myself back up, and I'm like, you're being videos, because you forget, because like, you know, I'm looking at you and I'm not looking at the cameras. But yeah,
wow,
I know. There you go, there's your answer.
There's your answer.
Would you ever do video?
Yeah, I would eventually.
It's a lot of work,
It's a lot of work,
but like podcasts are progressing like that now. Like
yeah.
you kind of I feel like if you want to elevate to that level, you have to do it.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I definitely want to do it. It's just because it's just me that does everything, and like
it's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's time consuming. Like you need someone to be sitting behind the cameras to like to make sure it's in focus and everything. Make sure that it's okay.
Oh really? So you're like a team of people?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
It's a graph.
Holy shit!
This is another thing. People do not realize how much work goes into a podcast.
Oh yeah.
Like, and also, like, yeah, anyone can, like, record it on their phone, but if you've got shite chat, no one's going to listen to you.
Yeah, true.
Like, absolutely not. Like, I've heard a lot of awful podcasts in my lifetime.
Oh, yeah? What makes an awful podcast for you?
If it's not structured, or if you don't, like... Well, to be fair, not necessarily structured, because, like, I didn't structure this podcast purely because I was just waiting for us to have a chat, and I think it would have been nice just to let it flow. But not being able to bounce off one another, not really knowing what you're talking about. Like, you have to have some idea what you're talking about, and like know where you want the episode to go. Yeah. And like, just if you're like don't care, like there was this one podcast I listened to, and these two girls were just like chatting out their arse.
Oh.
But like, and like, half the time you didn't know what they were talking about because they were just talking about their own personal stuff, and I was like, what are you doing? Yeah. See, I get that. See, I feel like there's this misconception that like people can just like turn on the little podcast thing, and then that's like everybody wants to do a podcast. We know that. Yeah, Jesus, I'm sick of those
we
comments.
know that.
I get it. I understand.
You know what? It makes me so annoyed, because like when I first started it out, people are like, yeah, like I want to do podcast. It's so much like work that sometimes it is like, yeah, but would you put in that work consistently? Because you want to do it, but it's not like posting a photo on Instagram. Like you have to sit and edit it and like.
Has anyone ever said that to you, that they want to start a podcast, and you thought in your head, Jesus Christ, you would not be good in a podcast?
Maybe like I have had people that say that. I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm sure there's people that look at me and think, I don't think like you would ever be good. And like, I don't like to think that about people. Sometimes there's like the underdog thing. To me, it's disciplined. If people are not disciplined in any other part of their life, and then all of a sudden they want to take this on as well, it's like, you're not going to do it, you know? Like you're very switched on. Like I could tell from our conversation, I was like, she is really cool. Like you've got it on, you know what you need to do to like make this thing grow, to build something. And I feel like some people just think it's just like you can just linger about with it.
Work. Like, it's not like and I'm not saying like, trust me, this is a very easy job compared to many other jobs. Like this is like, it would be a privilege to do this full time and have this as like a full-time job, and I would actually be honored to be able to do that. But like, it does take a lot of work. You need to think about like all of the like social media behind the scenes, and also you need to make sure you're bringing on guests that people are interested in listening to, because like it might be interesting for you, but like it might not be that interesting for other people. Do you know what I mean? Like it could be. And also, even before, like when we were talking about like someone that like you don't know what their vibe is going to be like, they might have an interesting story, but if they've not got the chat, then they're not going to be any good in a podcast. It's a weird one.
I think being in a podcast as well is changed, like, or like doing my own podcasting things is change how I interact with people as well. Like, I feel like you do listen a lot more, but there's also a value of like being able to talk and articulate yourself really well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You have to do both. I think it's so great. I think it's such like one of the best things I've done this year.
More and more people are doing podcasting for like uni projects and
Yeah.
stuff, which is really, really interesting.
I
I'm
like
helping
that.
a girl on Wednesday. Like, I'm going over to her house just to like explain to her like how it works and
Nice.
stuff, which is like so exciting. And like she
Yeah.
reached out to me and I was like, really? She was like, yeah, you seem like you know what you're doing. And I was
Aww.
like, thank you. Because it's weird because like I don't really see it like that. I'm just seeing this as like something like I don't even really think about it as like something that like I'm good at. I'm just seeing it something as like I need to pursue this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's weird.
I think you're good at it.
I
And
appreciate that.
I really enjoy your solo podcast as well. And I know you say that you like you like the guests, you like speaking to people. But I think you're just so cute. Like, you really are. You are so cute. And I think you're like really down to earth. And I think that's like exactly the kind of personality that like will just pop off so well.
So many people have been saying that they enjoyed that like solo podcast and I hated it. I really didn't like it that much. The other time I came back from it, I was like, that is gonna be so boring for people to listen to.
No.
Honestly, I'm getting more and more people being like, you should do more of that, and I'm like,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Maybe, but I'm literally doing it side on looking at the camera and I'm fixing my hair, and Finley, you better tell me if my hair looks crazy. So back to like your own podcast too. Where would you like to do that? Like, would you like it to pop off?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, see, like if it really took off, would you just sack off neuroscience and modelling? Like, what one do you want most out of the three? There you
Oh,
go.
wow.
If you had to pick one.
Podcast.
Oh, really?
It's something I built and it's not luck based, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
That's so big for
yeah,
me.
look based is so interesting. Actually, I think I was gonna ask you about like pretty privilege and things like that. Do you think you would like? Do you have any experience with that?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Like, people treated me so much better when I started like getting a little bit prettier.
It's crazy, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
I was an ugly duckling.
You?
Yeah, I know. Who would have thought?
I can't imagine that.
No, genuinely, I was such an ugly duckling.
But it builds personality. You have to work on other things. So
That's
that's probably
why
why
I'm
you're so
so
funny.
funny.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know it.
Yeah. That's how it works.
But yeah, literally, I was such an ugly duckling, and then all of a sudden, I just kind of got hot and grew boobs.
Wow,
like,
so your God was just like, give her everything.
yeah, and give her a podcast
I
too.
got podcast to get out in the world. The
Yeah.
world deserves her.
No, genuinely, it does build character for you when you have to like have more than just like a pretty face.
Yeah.
That is mad.
I think also like,
But people do treat you so differently, don't they?
yeah. And it used to drive me a little bit crazy. People also treat you crazy, and you'll start experiencing this. Like, say some people think, say this year I had like a shoot for Spotify, or like when I had like a shoot last year for like just other companies and stuff. And when it's a company that people think it's like cool, I've had friends that I would message like, oh, do you want to meet up? Blah, blah, blah. Ignore me. Don't care. I'm like, okay, cool. And then as soon as I do a cool shoot, people like want to like, oh, they're interested in my life, or they reply to my story, or like they're like, oh yeah, like let's meet up. And I experienced that over and over and over again. And like, obviously I'm not like a successful model, but I got a taste of what it'd be like, how people change when you start acquiring things that they think is cool.
And the way like people only want to know you when you're doing good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, honestly, I've had more people slide into my DMs now, like guy wise.
Oh.
Now that like, because at first I think everyone was like, she's a gimp, she's got a podcast, and now that it's like started to pop off, they're like, ha, oh my god, look at you, and I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, I've noticed that more and more. Cause I was like, you weren't interested in me before, but now that like it's maybe going to be a bit better, and like
yeah.
you can see that I'm actually sticking at this, you're like, oh, maybe you're interesting.
And like, how do you draw the line for like, these people are now, people have high standards, and as they should, you know? But like, how do you draw the line between like, okay, I'm not going to be a dick to people even though they've treated me like that, and being like, this is my boundary, like I know you don't actually respect me as a person.
Oh, I just kill people with kindness. I think I'm just overall like really nice to people, but like the boundaries, like I'll just not reply. Like I think that's sometimes it's even like more of a fuck you if you just like read it, patch it, and then just don't reply so much, which is like it's a wee bit like rude, but like honestly they need to be told, don't
It's
they?
what you need to do.
Yeah, but like see back to like the pretty privilege thing. I was gonna say, do you ever feel like people don't take you really seriously? And I know that that's just like such like a pretty people don't like take me seriously, but it is something that I talked about with Sean, and he was like, that's something that you will continue to experience, is like people generally think I'm an airhead, and he was like, I mean that in like the least rude way possible, but people just assume that you're like pretty and want to do a podcast, but they don't actually realize that you're actually intelligent. Yeah, people just think I'm like thick.
Really?
Yeah.
They just have an assumption. People want to hate on something, right? So they see someone with that confidence and they'll try and figure something out bad about them. So like I'm so drawn. I think like this is so bad, but all my friends are so beautiful, or like they're really good at like, I have Ellie is like really good at Olympic weightlifting. Like,
wow.
Yeah,
she's mad.
Yeah, like my friends are really impressive people, like, or even like just kind, or like just they're bad bees, you know? And the reason I'm drawn to them is that sometimes people look at someone and they're like, this person's a bitch. And they think this person's a bitch because they want them to be a bitch. And so like people, I don't know, make a lot of these assumptions. I don't really care. People think I'm an airhead. It's because I say airhead things as well. You know,
but
like
you also do neuroscience at
that's
uni.
my only saving grace.
I was
As soon as
like, I'm a neuroscience student, bitch.
No, but once I'm no longer a neuroscience kid, like now she's just an airhead. Like,
I have a podcast, I'm an airhead.
Yeah. But so what? You're doing something. People that judge like that are not doing cool things, you know?
Yeah.
So
I know, but like,
it's hard to say, oh, they want to be you, but there's some people. I was actually thinking about this on the bus. There are some people that like see all the things you do, and they're like, oh, cool, like whatever, and they're not really bothered about it. And then there's going to be some people that want what you have and hate that you have it.
Oh,
wow. And like no matter what you do, they're going to hate that you have it all the time, because I guess it speaks to a part of them that's not like going out and achieving the things they want to do.
Wow, I really like that, actually. I'm going to take that. I'm really going to think about that after you leave. See, some of the things you say, like, when we did our last podcast has really stuck with me.
Aww.
Yeah, and I've not stopped thinking about it, but that is really, like, that is so true. And I think some people just need to, like focus on yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't shit on other people just because you're not enjoying it. And this is why I think I talked to you about this too. Like, you have to surround yourself with like-minded people. Like, and people that are also ambitious, because it really pushes you to grow, and they're not going to be there to tear you down or like be jealous and stuff like that. Because like you've had some jealous friends, and like I've not really had jealous friends. I've just had friends that like didn't really care. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a weird one because it's a graft, and I feel like life is a bit of like you really just need to like make your way and like push through and like. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. As long as you have a support system, it's very important.
The support system is everything.
Do you have a really good one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this year, I'm so grateful.
It makes such a difference. And also, like, no offense, Finley, but, like, girl pals.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never, like, all the guy pals, I don't even really have guy pals, to be honest. Like, I have, like, a very, very few. And, like, but for me, like, it's not like the same, maybe because like there's this whole thing where you're like, girls and guys can't be friends, you know what I mean? There's that whole thing as well, but like there's just this understanding between women.
Oh yeah,
like there's that like
that emotional
connection.
Support is so important.
And I want to do an episode on this about how like platonic relationships and like women's platonic relationships is so much more fulfilling than sexual romantic relationships. Like I do not know what I would do without my friends. Like they're the ones that pushed me to do this podcast.
Aww.
And I'm guessing like your friends like push you.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
That's great. Like you're even telling me your flatmate listens to all your episodes.
That's
the same with mine. My flatmate listens to all of them.
And it's weird because I never had these friends like say in high school, like that level of caring about my life. So I never expected it. But I think once you find people like that, it feels like a warm hug. Yeah. Like this is what I imagine people that just came out of a toxic relationship, they find something really healthy and they're like, this is what it means to like be loved. And like there isn't that jealousy. Like it's like everybody has their own different thing and they're just supportive and everyone's pushing each other to do better. And I'm so grateful for them. And yeah, I wish everyone could have like that kind of network. But you also have to be a quality person for people to keep you in your life like that.
That is so important.
Yeah.
What advice would you give for other people who like maybe have not a great like network like we do, or like a great support system?
I would say you have to learn, for me personally, you have to learn discipline within yourself. So I would have not been able to cut these friends out had I not known that I have the discipline to like take them out of my life, because I feel like I'm such a people pleaser sometimes, and I love to be kind, and I want to give people in, and like I want people like this community sense. And when someone is like a rotten bad fruit, you're gonna keep forgiving them. And so I had to work, like the reason the gym means so much to me, or like things like this podcast, like things that just are so discipline based, is so that I know that I can keep, if I make the decision to get you out, you are going to be out. And you have to know that like the outcome of it is going to be so much greater than like the feeling. Because when I was with these friendships that didn't fulfill me, I just felt so like empty inside.
And
I
you
never
need to
felt
know when
seen.
enough is enough.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because then it really takes a toll on your mental health. Like I've had some like, you know, rotten fruit in my life. Do you know what I mean? But you're so right about the discipline thing. Like I never thought of it like that, where it's like you need to be disciplined in yourself to be able to cut them off. How did you cut them off?
I just stopped speaking to them. And that's quite hard, but it's maybe different people have different ways. I know some people like what you call it, like crumb it out and stuff. I'm a bit more like
really?
Yeah, I'm like assertive. Get out. It's because
wow.
Yeah, no,
fuck off.
No, it's not as rude as that, but it is just more in the sense that if you want to get a lot done in your life, I feel like you have to be quite like that, quite assertive.
Maybe I'm gonna have to do that more. That's so interesting. I really want to do a whole other podcast episode on that, and like crumbing out is like such an interesting one, because that's exactly what I do, and like you're just like nope, you're done. Yeah. Like do you give them strikes?
I do, obviously. Like if I've known someone really long.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
But like, you know.
But it's almost a downfall of mine a little bit. So I'm trying to work on like people are not so black and white, and there's room for grey. And if I want people to have forgiven me for some of the things I've done in the past, then I also have to be more forgiving. So
wow.
Yeah.
So insightful. Oh. That's so nice. Did you go to therapy?
No.
Wow. Okay, so that's another thing to add to the list.
I journal a lot.
Do you?
Yeah.
Journaling is so good for you.
Yeah.
So good for you. I used to do it a lot. Now I really can't hack it, purely because like when I write down my problems, they just feel so like way too much for me. Yeah. But then sometimes like it's also quite nice because you write something down and you realise how small it is. Yeah. But like for the big things, writing down like a big thing that's like been like on your mind for a long time can be like, it feels like such a task. Yeah. Do you ever feel like that with journaling?
I write there when I'm feeling like most, even when I'm happy, but like if it's something really big, it's kind of bad, but for so long I've had to be very independent. So it means that I've had to like know how to look after myself. So I never spoke to a lot of people about anything.
How come?
Just because I thought that's the way the world is, and I thought that people don't speak about their problems.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm overstepping. Were your parents not very open about talking about things?
My dad wasn't very open. My mum was, I would say, like too open about emotions all the time.
Oh, really?
And in a way that, I guess, I don't want to go too much into it, but it was just that like sense of emotional like outbursts I took in, and I was like, I never want to be like that. So then I took in every emotion I had and like just internalized it. And it took so long for me to realize that that's not healthy for the relationships I have, because you need vulnerability to connect really well with people. And it felt like this burden inside of me for really long.
Are you still close with your parents?
Yeah, I am close with them.
So they're both from Sudan?
My mum was born here, like Egyptian, Moroccan, but my dad, yeah.
And did they come over to the UK before you were born?
No, I came here when I was like young, like 6 or so.
So you were born in Sudan? Yeah. How was, like, do you remember your childhood in Sudan? Or not really?
Various parts, like very little. I remember I had chicks in Sudan. Chicks, yeah. Aww. Like little chicks, but I accidentally killed one. But like that, I think that's probably my earliest memory.
To be fair, you were a kid. I'm not gonna like.
You kill animals in such weird ways.
How did you do it?
So I was obsessed with like Hot Wheels. So I had like a Hot Wheels like ramp thing.
Oh god.
And I put like, it was like an obstacle course, and I put like a bucket of water at like the end, and I was like, the chick is gonna fly over and like go to the other side. So I put the chick in like a Barbie skateboard. and it just went straight into the water. And I was like 5 years old, so I didn't understand what's going on. Like, I've seen ducks on the TV, so I thought this could swim. And I generally think that is my earliest memory.
Is you killing the chick.
It's like my earliest good memory.
The thing is, kids just don't know better. Like, I don't think my flatmate will mind me telling this story about her killing her guinea pig. Basically, when she was really young, in her back garden, she had this guinea pig. I don't remember the name of it, but she had this like little baby, this little pram. And she was like, she loved that guinea pig so much. She'd like cart it about in this pram, just like chill with it and stuff. She was carting it about. And like something spooked her, like she saw like a spider or something, and she like screamed and like threw the pram, and the guinea pig went up in the air and splatted onto a concrete slab.
I know.
It's horrible. I'm sorry.
That's really horrible.
I shouldn't be laughing, but like I'm just imagining my flatmate as a child like acting like that. I know.
No.
I know.
Oh, bless.
I know, it's horrible.
Guinea pigs get killed in weird ways.
Yeah, I know. Literally, I don't know how the hell we got into this topic.
Yeah.
Talking about your childhood in Sudan. So how come you moved over?
Just because it's better here, schooling and everything. Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the best things ever. The schooling is just so much better here. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, are your family still there, or have they moved?
They're here. Everyone's here.
Everyone's here now, especially with everything that's going on. I know we talked about that before, and you were like, "I'm not too sure." So, do you feel quite disconnected from Sudan?
It's like, I don't know, politically. Like, I'm not someone that knows a lot of things very well politically. You know, like the stories that I've like heard from my mom and stuff is more like the people we know, and like the horrific things, like places that my mom spent a lot of her time in, like getting burnt down. Like, that's kind of what I care about more. But in the sense of, it's just that's probably one of the reasons we moved as well. Like, we knew that the politically it was just not going to be very stable there. And I think it's like a lot of my family have moved out of there. A lot of people have moved out. It's just so sad to see how African countries are still continuously struggling, and there's still all this. Yeah, it doesn't feel like the world is as developed as we think it is, and
completely.
Things like a war really like shake you.
100%.
Yeah,
and it must especially shake you because it's literally like where you're from.
Yeah,
like how does that feel though? Like, no, like, because I'm guessing you'll never go back.
No. Yeah.
Like, that must feel really, I don't know. Because, like, you moved here when you were, what did you say, 6?
6, yeah.
And you, like, were just thrown into school and just, like, started your new life here.
Yeah.
That must have been quite scary.
Yeah. I think maybe that's, I mean, it's probably one of the best decisions. I just can't imagine myself there. I think I couldn't be doing things like this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But yeah, you just learn to, I think that's probably why the reasons I like competitive fields or like things like that is like I've had to go through that like hardship of like trying to figure out a new language, a new place.
Yeah. And how was that, just going straight into school?
Yeah, like, it was tough at the beginning, but the school I'd went to was like everyone's quite nice there, so it was all good.
Really brutal.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even, because like I just like born and raised Glasgow.
Oh really?
Yeah, like didn't really ever go through anything like that. Like, the only like other culture I've ever known about is France. Do you know what I mean? And like the UK really doesn't have much of a culture. Do you know what I mean? We just steal other people's. Like, it's nothing I'll ever have to like ever think about,
learn about.
You know what I mean? Because that's like something that's like always gonna be a part of you. It's sad, but it's also like,
I'm so grateful for everything.
Yeah,
I'm so grateful for everything. I'm one of those like people that's like everything happens to you for a reason.
And like, look at you now. Look at all the stuff that you're achieving. Like you said, it's not something you could have achieved in Sudan. But that's even more upsetting, is that they don't have the same opportunities as us. And like, look, like I've dropped out of my retail job to do this full time and work for the BBC. Like,
nice.
That's not an everyday thing that people can just do.
No.
Like, and even like people living in this country, like I still have the support of my family who want to like push me and would like want to help me financially so I can achieve what I want to do. Not everyone has that.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like you with your modelling, even though you're funding that all yourself, like you're still able to do that on the side too.
I think I felt really guilty as well. Like I was like, I have all these privileges here, and yet there are people like in my country that are just like losing their children, losing their houses, losing everything they've ever known. And to me, that solidified in my mind that because I have these privileges right now, like I must dedicate my life to making sure that I'm in service to other people, and I have no power now, but I want to make sure that I do have some power in a world where something like this happens again. I can help in an actual way that's not just donating money, you know. And it's like, if you have these privileges, I think it's you're almost, you don't have to, but for me, I have to pay back, and in my lifetime I want to make sure that I'm opening doors for other people, and that's how we continue it on. So
that is so nice.
Oh, thank you.
That's such a nice thing to say. A really nice way to round it up as well. I was going to ask, I've got 2 more questions for you. What advice would you give someone who wants to get into neuroscience, especially as like a girl? Because I think a lot of girls might be a little bit put off by like something that's so big, or maybe I'm just talking out my arse, but like, that's, if someone was like, do you want to do neuroscience, I'd be like, Jesus, absolutely not.
To do it, you have to obviously have an interest. I think if you have an interest in people, how people work, you would love neuroscience, and you just have to have hard work, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but I mean, it's just, if you're gonna go to uni, you're gonna have to choose something. But if you love people and you want to understand like mental health, diseases and things like that, I think you would really love it.
And what advice would you give someone who wants to start a podcast?
A podcast?
Yeah.
Grow some balls.
Yeah, so fair.
Yeah.
So fair.
You're gonna have to get really used to like people making comments.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get used to people talking about you.
Yeah, hard. It's a lot of hard work, but just know that like, starting a podcast, me back in December when I just wanted to start a podcast, what would you do? Research a lot, lose any sense of ego that you have, because you may think you're too cool to reach out to people, or like, you know, promote the thing you've been working so hard on. You're gonna have to let all of that go and just be like, cool, I'm in this for the long run, like how can I keep continuing to grow in this? But yeah,
I love that. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, you're so welcome.
I've had so much fun.
I can't wait to hang out in Glasgow.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Thank
you
you
so much.